Hi there, welcome to this tutorial on using a Rodecaster Pro II with Virtual Video Director. Rodecaster Pro II is probably one of the best little units you can choose for using with Virtual Video Director. It's pretty easy to set up and it's got some great features that can save you some hassle and money down the line. So I'll take you through how some of the best ways to use it are, and we'll get you going. Let's switch across here to, hopefully you can see my desktop now. So the first thing we're going to need to do is download the ASIO driver for the Pro II. So if you just search for Rodecaster ASIO, click on the links, click here to locate the software. Now this is going to give us the individual channels from the device, so it is quite important you do this step. Otherwise you're going to find that it doesn't work properly. So we'll just run that installer. That will install the driver. I've already got it on here, so we'll just run a repair and go through that process. Now once that has finished installing, you need to physically unplug the Rodecaster USB from your computer and plug it back in, and that will initialize the device using that new driver that's been installed. So one of the great features of the Rodecaster Pro II is that it allows you to use it with both ASIO and WDM at the same time. So that means we can actually get the left and right master outputs from the Rodecaster and send them straight to VMix, and we can get the individual channel inputs from the Rodecaster and send those to VVD for deciding which camera to switch to. You will want to change some settings on the Rodecaster though for that to work properly. So if you go to the settings menu and you go to outputs and then go to routing, no, sorry, not routing, you want to go to multi-track, and then you want to go to USB. So this is what is going to be sent out on the USB. Now at the moment it by default is going to be set to post fader, which means if you turn down a channel, that's going to turn down the level that is sent to Virtual Video Director. Now you might want that, that might be quite useful, but you also might not want that. You might want it to be unaffected by the faders, so you can set that to pre-fader, and then that's going to make sure that even if the fader's down, the audio is still sent to Virtual Video Director, and that's personally how I would use it. And you can also bypass the processing, so I would probably turn that on initially and then have a play with it and see what works best for you. But start by bypassing, start by setting it to pre-fader, and then you can adjust from there to suit what you're doing. So once that's done, we will switch back over to the desktop, and we can fire up VMix. Now I'm going to pretend we've got two cameras and two mic positions set up. So we will call them red camera and green camera. So I'll just create a color for each one just to represent those two cameras. So there's red camera, and then we'll set up one for green camera. Right, so these are our two cameras that we are going to want to switch between depending on who is speaking. So I'll just set those to cut, and then I can manually cut them. Now we're going to bring in our master audio from the Rodecaster. So this is a left and right mix of what is being mixed. So this is post fader on the Rodecaster, which is what we want. So we'll choose audio input, and from the drop down list we're going to want to choose this one here, the microphone Rodecaster Pro II chat. If you choose the Rodecaster one here, that's the ASIO driver, so that is going to block Virtual Video Director from getting sound, and same with this one here, it's also going to block. So we want this chat, which is actually a second audio interface that's built into the Rodecaster, which is a great feature. So if I click on OK there, we should now, if I bring up the faders on my Rodecaster 2 and switch back to here, you can see now we have got left and right audio coming into VMix, which is what we want. And if I turn down the faders, that will turn down there as well. If I bring them back up, that was there. So that's a mix output from the Rodecaster, which is exactly what we want. Now, next step is to configure Virtual Video Director. So if you fire up Virtual Video Director, you're going to want the latest version if you can, because this now supports channel names over ASIO, so you can actually see what the individual channel names are going to be called. So to get that latest version, just go to Settings, Update Branch, change this to Fixes and Bleeding Edge, and then do an update. And you're going to want to be on 5.0 or later really to get those features. So now what we can do is in the control panel we should now see Rodecaster ASIO driver. If we select that and then close the control panel, we will see in VVD we get a copy of all of the individual channels on the Rodecaster, and they're all labeled as to what they are. Now, one thing to watch out for is the first two channels are actually left and right, and we don't want those in VVD because they are a mix of all of these other ones combined. So if I turn that down, the left and the faders for the microphones down, you see that left and right fades out, but the individual channels from the left and right microphone are still there. So the first thing I would typically do is go through and mute in VVD all the channels that we're not using, like this, and that just reduces it from processing those channels. So anything that's muted is not processed, so it just cuts down your CPU load as well. Right, so now we have two microphones coming in, and just check, I'll tap on microphone 1, here we go, and I'll now tap on 2, there it is. So we've got our two channels coming here, which looks really good. Now what we can do is configure this to talk back to VMix. So if we go back to the settings, and it's already correctly configured, we want VMix cut, which is correct. Localhost, it's running on the same machine, and we want that to cut instantly, so that's great. I will set this to Professional Director. I'm going to initially just disable the realism simulator. We can play with silence and overview later on, but initially I'm just going to turn that off while we're getting everything up and running. And we've got a minimum duration here, which is how long it will stay on a particular camera for. So I typically don't like it cutting too quick. It looks a bit choppy if you go too quick. A professional director would generally not switch between cameras within about 10 seconds, so we'll leave it around there. And now we can close the control panel, and we can see that at the moment T1 is set to all 1, so these are all 1, which is why nothing is really changing. So now if I change this to 2, that will, when that mic is triggered, cut to 2 over here, and you can see just the background talking. This one is a little bit louder. That one has cut in the background to 2. So I'll just drag this down a bit. So now if you can see the duration there cutting through. Right, so I'll tap on some mics now. So tapping on 1. Wait for that minimum duration to drop, and now it's cut to 1. And now I'll tap on 2, wait for the minimum duration to expire there, and it's cut to 2. So that's working great. I'm getting the master audio in VMix, I'm getting the individual channels in Virtual Video Director, and I've quickly set it up. Now, because I'm not, at the moment I'm not actually talking directly into these microphones, so this is just background noise. So what I'm actually going to do is configure the noise gate so that we cut out this background noise. There's a couple of ways you can do that. If I just go to silence for a second, we'll see what the background room noise is. You can see even when the room's quiet, the VVD is picking up the background noise. So now I'll go quiet again and we'll just cut out that background noise with the noise gate. And there we go. So now that's cut out background room noise, but you can still see, even though I'm off the microphones at the moment, it is picking up just the distant sound of my voice. So I could keep on going and cut that out as well. So I'll keep on turning that up, and then that's only going to pick up people who directly talk into a microphone. So yep, that's now cut out pretty much all of the background off mic talking. And now if I pick one of these microphones up and talk directly into it, testing microphone 2, and then I stop talking, we should see everything goes nice and quiet. And now put the microphone down on the table, see it's not really picking me up. If I pick the other microphone up, microphone 1, check 1, 2, and now this one's triggering nice, and we're not getting any crosstalk between the microphone channels. So that noise gate is a great feature to use with the Rodecaster, and that's why I typically say it's a good idea to, in the Rodecaster itself, set the split that goes over USB to not include any processing like compressors or anything like that. And then you can use this noise gate to full effect within Virtual Video Director itself. So I hope that was useful. It was a very quick rundown of how you can use VVD with a Rodecaster Pro. They're a great device. Very soon we're going to be showing you with some new features that are coming to Virtual Video Director how you can actually use these touchpads within the Rodecaster to enable and disable various functions from within VVD. So we're bringing MIDI support, and that will be coming up in an upcoming tutorial. So I hope that was useful. Please go to vvd.nz for any questions. Feel free to drop us a line if you have any questions on how you can use VVD with your Rodecaster Pro II. Thanks.